Hi everybody. We are joined here today by Julia Priestnall from Warm and Well. That's all right, thank you. I always get them mixed up. And we're going to just do a short discussion on fuel poverty and the possible impacts that will hit post-COVID lockdown with the furlough schemes and potential unemployment, but also the overall impacts of fuel poverty in general in the community. I think it's for us here, it's something that needs to be raised a bit more in the community to try and help people deal with issues of fuel poverty, fuel debt, and yeah, that's really it. So if I hand over to you, Julie, it's probably better you start and then tell us, and we'll pose some questions for you later.
Okay, I'll explain a little bit about Warm and Well and the work that we do. So the Warm and Well project is funded by North Yorkshire County Council. We're in our third year of running, and it's managed by Mid and North York's Citizens Advice. So I work for Citizens Advice, but on the project Warm and Well. And the support that we offer is open to all residents in North Yorkshire County Council. So it's not York City Council, it's the rest of North Yorkshire. And the type of work that we support people with is energy comparison and switching, because people don't realise that by switching energy suppliers, they can save on average £200 just by switching energy suppliers. We help with applications for the Warm Home Discount and also energy trusts, which can help pay arrears for fuel poverty. So we can come on to that more later. We also offer practical advice with energy efficiency measures. So that's the double glazing, draft proofing, insulation. We work with a number of partners throughout North Yorkshire. And we also assess for any eco funding that all district councils have with regards to first time heating, loft and cavity insulation. We offer fuel debt or fuel poverty advice. So we would do an assessment and then make a referral to our specialised debt advisors. It's not just for fuel, it's for debt, because you usually find if people are in fuel debt, they're also in other debt as well. We help with charitable funding. For an example, Rydale, customer couldn't afford coal for the heating. That was the only form of heating in the property. We were able to source funding to purchase coal for them. So we will look at that side as well, and we will support people with high energy bills, and we're finding that's happening more at the moment from lockdown, where people have been having estimated bills. They're now having the readings and the bills are just going through the roof, and it's how do they afford those bills. So we will work with the energy suppliers, to make sure that that bill's correct. And we've had a couple of occasions where the bills aren't correct, and then work out a budgeting scheme to help them pay for the fuel poverty. We are telephone based. We cover, but we're open Monday to Friday, 9 till 4. We have seen an increase in our service from lockdown. Normally it would be, we would deal with the queries within 1 or 2 calls. They're now taking about 4 or 5 times before we've dealt with all of the queries that the clients are coming with. Because we are Citizens Advice, we have that expertise as well. So we don't just deal with energy. We will look at housing, we will look at employment, and we have, as I said, the full debt team as well that we work with very closely. It's open to anybody. The support, anybody who is worried about their heating or can't afford their bills or is worried about the bills, then this project is open to them. Is there any questions?
I think that's really useful. It's really great. I'm interested a little bit in to hear that you've had a rise in people calling you due to the bills after lockdown, because
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah, I mean, issues in the past have estimated bills either way. The energy companies being stuck at home is forcing them to use energy that they would normally be using at work. And so what sort of significant are these quite significant rises in bills then?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, an example is somebody's monthly direct debit was £40 for gas. That suddenly went up to £160 because of the usage. And it's
wow.
if you think, if you suddenly are faced with that energy increase, the bill increase, if you are furloughed or if you've lost your job, it's that extra stress as how are you going to cope with paying those bills. So that's why we work with our our debt advisors. But if there is energy arrears, we look at the charitable trusts to see if we can make an application to pay those arrears off. So a partner that we work with very closely is British Gas Energy Trust. I'm not sure if any of you are aware of that one. And that is open to not just British Gas customers. And we've seen an increase in those applications. Just over the last week, we've dealt with 4.
Really?
In normal times, we would have dealt with perhaps 1 in a month.
Right.
Do you have direct dealings with the providers themselves, the actual energy providers? Because many of the energy providers have got opportunities to be supportive at this time.
Yes, we do. We work very closely with all of the energy suppliers, and we do, as long as the client is happy for us to work on their behalf and we get that consent, then we will do that.
Brilliant.
You know, it sometimes clients get a bill through and don't fully understand it. So it's we sort of act as that go-between. An example: wrong meter readings, wrong actual meter number has been allocated. So we look very deeply into the bills, and then we'll support the clients that way.
Brilliant.
That's really interesting. I mean, there's also, I know, I'm not sure what the status is on some of the schemes on energy efficiency at the moment either. And I know, I think, for instance, I'm not sure, can you still apply for loft insulation, for instance? There's a
new one coming on in September, isn't there, where you can get yeah, I know, I've just booked my bloody roof to be done. It's costing me 20,000 and I can't do it now because I've already pre-booked it. Yes, I'm really
language, Claire. We are recording, by the way, just to let you know.
Okay, I didn't say that at all. I am so desperately sorry. I forgot you were recording.
It's fine. It's fine.
So I'll be coming to you. I'll be coming in to say, how do I backtrack on this now and save myself £5,000? Because that's £5,000 wasted now, isn't it? In September I could access a scheme, but in August I can't, and so it's really difficult.
Yeah, we haven't got all of the information through about the Green Homes Grant. So we're monitoring all of GovUK, any announcements that they have, just to see how easy it's going to be to access this money. And I know, Steve, that's how you contacted me initially, wasn't it? Through a blog that we actually done either Facebook or Twitter. So we will be keeping partners up to date. I produce a newsletter which I will be sending out. So any news that we get, any updates, I will let you know. The Green Homes Grant will cover loft insulation. It will be double glazing, and it's also it's loft, walls, and double glazing.
Yeah.
The other funds that are ongoing anyway is the eco funding for first-time heating, which for Rydale, it's the company that has a contract with North Yorkshire County Council, is Yes Energy Solutions. So they will look at if people haven't got heating, they may be able to get the first time heating through the eco funding. And the other, which has just been announced, the second phase of the Warm Home Fund is the air source heat pumps, which everybody's heard about. Again, that will be available for residents in the Rydale area, but it's got to be first time heating. Which from all of my figures, I know that we have a lot of residents in the Rydale area that have LPG, oil, so they would not be eligible for the air source heat pumps grants.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I've raised that as an issue because the whole point is to try and move people onto a more efficient, energy efficient heating system.
Yeah.
So it is something that I've raised as a concern for these areas.
Which are obviously cheaper for fuel poverty houses as well. It's an air source heat pump is considerably cheaper than oil and will be going forward, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a no-brainer for me, to be honest. But I'm an eco guy, so you know, that's my bag. But it is. I think Jack, I think, has a question.
Yeah, well, I had two, I suppose. One for you guys as a project. Would you say that there's any sort of particular challenges that you face? So is it, you know, kind of you know, you need more funds? Is it a job of raising more awareness, or is it that, you know, you've got all the money and all the people that you can possibly handle, and please don't have any more people calling you? I was just wondering, you know, is there something, you know, we can do as well to help raise awareness of you guys, or, you know, push people to funding?
Always raise awareness, because it's a support that my team, we believe in, that if people need that help, then we're there to help them. Citizens Advice, we're a charity. We're always after funding, Jack. So again, we can always have extra people. So if you know of any funding, then please let me know.
And the a question, I suppose, slightly personal, but or a kind of a question for me and other people in my position. I'm in a private rented house from that's rented from one of the big estates in the area, and I wondered what are the rights that we as renters have to ask our landlords to put in some of this, for instance, the insulation, you know, character walls, that sort of thing, because I mean, it's a very lovely Victorian cottage I'm in, but it's, you know, sort of single glazed, old boiler, all that sort of thing, and obviously it's not for me to go and you know, rip windows out and put new things in and stuff like that, because they get very grumpy. Is
it a graded listed building?
I actually am not entirely sure, but generally, I suppose the question generally is for people in my position rather than me personally. But yeah.
With regards to the schemes are open to private rented residents as well. So it's people who own and who are privately rented. We do they liaise with the landlord. A landlord does have responsibility for some repairs as well, but they are part of this scheme, so we would look at that. In all schemes, there are eligibility criteria, so it could depend on your income, if there is a disability in the household, the benefits. So there's the criteria that we'd need to look at first, but if they fit that criteria, we would then refer you to a partner who would then do a home visit. They would do a survey of the property and talk to you about the different funding streams that are available.
Super. And so it's for the individual renter rather than the landlord to apply for per property sort of thing.
Yes.
Super. Right. I think that'd be interesting for other people to know.
But that's quite a useful piece to know, actually, because I do know some people in rented accommodation just don't feel they can do anything with an unsupportive landlord. I think that's quite important as well. Caroline's got a question. Sorry,
the landlord would still be included in that conversation.
Yeah, I think it's more the motivation of landlords to reach out in the first place is half the problem sometimes, to be brutally honest.
What I will say is that I'm not at all assuming my landlord isn't going to be cooperative. I'm sure they're a very lovely landlord. But this is more a question generally for renters before the estate watches this video.
Yeah, it is open. It's just so you know that it is open to private rented tenants as well as homeowners. The warm home, the Green Home Grant that's introduced from September is for homeowners.
Just going back to the question with the Rideout Council, is the question came in from Claire, is how close do you work with Rideout, and also how, I think we need to know how people actually engage with you in which various routes to go down. So when we put this out to people, they have the details and the various routes for engagement, because I think there is definitely ways we can lift and help people in Rideout just by raising awareness of this.
Yeah, we have a website, Warm and Well North Yorkshire. So it's www.warmandwell.org.uk. So people can actually go on there, find out about Warm and Well, and there is a referral form that they can complete, and we will then contact them. And that asks, obviously, their details, where they are, and why they're wanting to contact us. And it could be about energy switching, it could be more about energy efficiency advice, it could be that they're worried about paying the bills. So we have the Warm and Well website. We have a hotline that they can ring, which is 01609 767 555. And that is operated Monday to Friday, 9 till 4.
Brilliant.
There is an answer phone, so if anybody thinks, oh, I'm at work, I'll ring later, then they can leave a message and we will contact them back. Or we have an email address, which is wnw@northyorkslca.org.uk. What I will do is, I'm not sure, Steve, if I've already forwarded our leaflet, which explains the support that we offer with our contact details.
Is it quite an easy read, sort of like a one page or something that we can attach to our websites and our Facebooks and everything like that? It's a simple read.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at Zoom, but I'm sure that if I share my screen, I should be able to show you.
We will make sure it goes out to people anyway as well. So.
All right. So I can't share it because
I think
I think Caroline would have to do that. I think.
Yeah. Because one of the things I'd quite like to be able to do is that obviously at the moment I'm sure the team where I work will be conversant with Warm and Well, but I think at this stage maybe a lot of us might default to is it White Rose Home Improvements? Do they have a similar sort of, oh brilliant, you're sharing your screen, a similar sort of service? And I think it's all about making sure that we've got all the information out there for people, and so the people have the choice then, don't they? But if they're not aware, then obviously they're restricting their choice. So something as simple as what you're sharing now is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So that explains what we can do, and obviously our contact details at the bottom. White Rose Home Improvement Agency are one of our partners.
Brilliant.
So when we do a gateway assessment. Sorry, how do I get off?
You want right? Do you want me to?
Do I pause share?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll leave that on.
Just leave it up for now. That's fine.
Okay. So what we would do is when client phones through, we complete what's called a gateway assessment. So we look, as I mentioned before, we are employed by Citizens Advice. So as we say, we don't just look at the energy issues, we will look to maximise their income. So make sure that they're getting all the benefits they're entitled to. If there is debt, then obviously we can signpost to the debt team. When we've done that assessment, if there's work that needs carrying out, then we will refer to our partners, and White Rose is one of our partners that we would use for Rydell.
Great.
Thank you. This is really useful stuff. Is there any more questions from the team here? first and foremost. Jack, do you have any more? Judging by the silence.
Pressing all the wrong buttons. No, I was going to say, I think that was really massively helpful. I've recently switched energy suppliers. I think after an initiative, and it sounds like probably in conjunction with you guys and Rydal District Council, where they put out a call for people to sign up to, and then they'd sort of say, look, we've got however many thousand people who would like to switch, and that saved lots of money. But then there was lots of issues on switching, and I wonder if that is another thing that would go from you guys, because I know that often comes up. So there was an initial problem with me switching because I needed to finalise my bill, which is totally fine. But even after that, it then took sort of 3 months of wrangling between the two energy suppliers, as they both decided that they didn't or did like the gas and meter readings that I'd supply to one of them one day and one of them the next day, and it didn't get sorted. And so, the switch date I was meant to have then took another 3 months, which obviously meant paying 3 months of the original supplier, which was much higher than the new supplier, which was why I was switching. Is that something I should have come to you guys and asked for advice sort of right at the start? And I'm just sort of thinking of other scenarios people might be in, like me, and also looking for some free advice while you're
here. We would help with the initial switching, but also if there is issues after the switch, then we can deal with that as well. Actually, from the 1st of August for the month, we are running an energy switching campaign. So we're trying to help as many people as possible with their energy switching. The energy switching, we can save as low as £35 for the year, which is usually on prepayment meters, but the most I've ever saved anybody was £570 just with switching. That's a lot of money if you think that you're spending on your gas and electricity.
You're right, Jack. I think you're right, and Jack hit something on the head there about the switching. Some people just having the confidence to switch, particularly with an elder generation, and to be honest, it's actually just there in the background, rolling away on their normal tariff that have been on for years and years. It's never been a priority for them. If they're not online, for instance, it's hard for them to switch. So there's a lot more. There's a lot more sort of other aspects involved with this why people don't switch, and it's a really key thing. But Jack's point was really interesting, because I had an experience of switching a few years ago, and it turned out that the company owed us money, and trying to get that money back out of the company was like getting blood out of a stone. It was an absolute nightmare. And so we were paying one bill where there was, I think we had £400 in credit with one company at one point, and it took us 7 months to get the money back. 7 months, and it's things like that really need addressing. And if you guys can get in between the companies on that sort of situation for people and help them get that money back to pay the next energy bills, then that's even better. Caroline's got a question.
Yeah, a couple of things actually, Julia. How do people find out about you? Because I mean, what you're providing is a really invaluable service from what you've described.
Well,
we get that leaflet out there.
It is raising awareness. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have our website. It's by talking to groups like yourselves, just to make sure that people are aware of the support that's available. Usually this time of year, we would be out at events to raise awareness. But obviously with the lockdown at the moment, we haven't been going out to raise that awareness. So it has been by just contacting as many people as possible, putting a newsletter out there, updating Twitter. So we have increased our social media marketing. And it's just, because I only took over the beginning of the year. So to me, it's right, let's get people aware of Warm and Well, because I believe it's a good service. I think what we've actually done for clients has been absolutely fantastic. And with us being working for Citizen Advice, we don't just stop at energy. we will look at all of the factors. The debt team are absolutely brilliant, and they can support people. So we work together. It's all a partnership. But I just believe we've got to get our branding out there so that people know about the support that's available.
Yeah, I agree.
I think what's really, sorry, I think what's really impressive is certainly the simplicity at which you've gone through it all today, and it does sound really simple, and when you see that what you shared on the screen, you know, it's really simple, it's very accessible, people can get that really quickly, and so I think in terms of the voluntary sector, you know, I can make sure that I'm getting it out to my colleagues in Rydale across the voluntary sector, which I know you'll have done already, but actually these things are just drip feeding, aren't they, the whole time, and so you know, you are right to raise awareness like this, and you know, hopefully any one of us will be able to support and take that away into their own reach, you know, so I'll have a different reach to Caroline, to Steve, to Jack, you know, and so fair play, it's good, nice and simple.